So, good morning and good afternoon and good evening to all of you that have been on this journey with us. It has been an incredible, incredible journey. I've got Mia Leighty here with me today, and she is going to interview me as a way of coming full circle with this whole event. Melinda Starr interviewed me at the very beginning, and that was 2 years ago. I realized it was 2 years ago that I had this message, divine message, that I was meant to do this summit. And a lot has changed since then. I've changed. I've gone through a journey of transformation. And so I actually asked Mia, will you have this conversation with me as a way of ending this leadership conversation because I've learned so much and I want to share what I've learned. And she was like, yes, that'll be fun. So I've got Mia here with me and I'm going to hand it over to you, Mia. This is going to be so much fun. I'm so excited.
Thank you, Schamet. I cannot wait to hear everything that you've learned and walk with you as you integrate all of this magic and power and wisdom that you've gleaned from all of your presenters and from your own journey, kind of wrestling with these questions, which are so profound and so needed right now. So I really look forward to hearing all your answers to these questions. And thanks for everything. This summit is incredible, badly needed. So here we go.
Great. And just for all of you know, Mia is traveling right now, so she's not in her gorgeous background with her pink, red background and plants and everything. So thank you, Mia, for doing this while you're on the road.
Absolutely. This is what we've got to do, right? To be flexible and be available for to meet the moment. So it's an honor.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, I feel
Yeah.
honored. Yeah, thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, so I'm so curious. You've been on this journey for 2 years and thinking about this concept and stepping up to the plate to be able to um, dig in to this new paradigm and find your own footing inside of that. And as you've been navigating this journey these last few years and talking with all of these amazing presenters, right now, what is leadership meaning to you?
Mm. Well, I got truth bumps all over my body right now, because it was actually you that said awakening consciousness, and that leadership was that form of consciousness and presence. And that really hit me. I was like, oh, it really is. And then, I've learned so much from everyone that my definition of leadership is completely changed, like completely changed. And I think it's still percolating. I'm still processing all the different viewpoints, all the different perceptions. But for me right now, and it may continue to grow and evolve because I think we are birthing this new paradigm together and we're all still figuring out what this new landscape looks like because obviously the old paradigm way of leading is just not working. So it's collaborative. It's not about the me or the I, it's about the we. And the analogy of being on a ship, like leadership, um, which was Katya and I talked about that. And like we're all in this ship and we're sailing the seas. And I love that analogy because it's been like that on this summit. It's like, yeah, I'm the captain on the ship, but all of the speakers have been my crew. And we've gone out to sea and we're sailing. And as much as I can be the captain and be directive and say this and this and this and this, at the end of the day, when the storm comes, we all of us have to be in our leadership because it takes everyone. And so the responsibility is not only on the leader, it's on the crew to be able to lead as well, right? Because the captain can do what they do, but when the storm comes, like it's going to take everyone to navigate the ship so that it doesn't, get washed over by a wave or, and also the other analogy that I've been loving is the lighthouse and being, that beacon of light to help bring light so people can see where they need to go. And so, the old paradigm of somebody being in the front and leading everyone and that top down kind of way is not relevant to me when it comes to leadership. To me, and leadership, and I learned this from Allison Callan, is not the same thing as being a politician, which when I began this journey, I had a very difficult time with the word leadership actually, because I always associated it with politicians. And I now have unteased that. And now I see like politicians are politicians and leaders are leaders. Sometimes politicians can be leaders and sometimes leaders can be politicians, but they are two different roles. And a leader to me, we're all leaders within our own right. And it all starts with us leading ourselves. And there's all different types of leaders, but like a leader, like a really powerful new thought leader to me now is someone that makes change for the better, that awakens consciousness, that doesn't care about who's following them. They don't care about followers. They're leading a mission, a purpose, and they believe in their mission. They believe in their purpose so much that they're passionate, they're lit up, and they will make change no matter what, even if they rock the boat, upset the apple cart. Like, yeah, they have a reason to lead. And it's a different energy than what I thought about leadership 2 years ago. Yeah, I feel very grateful and blessed. I feel like I've been on a leadership training for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm feeling really happy.
Mm, I love that answer and what a journey that you've been on. So thank you so much for sharing that. And it sounds like you kind of touched on the what we're moving away from, what's not working. And I love this distinction between politician or civil servant and leader. And I'm curious, what does feminine leadership mean to you? How is it different from anything else now that you've made this distinction between what you thought was leadership and what you know it to be now?
Yeah, feminine leadership is about listening, about compassion, empathy, kindness, being you still being directive. And I learned this from you, Mia, that it's still about being powerful and it's still about being directive, but in a way that is loving and kind, being soft and strong at the same time. And it was you that said, and I love that so much, that there's not really a place for softness in leadership. And I think there is in a way, but what I got from that was you do need to be strong, and that the feminine energy is actually very strong and fierce and potent, and that we're claiming that, and that has been a really big shift, from that kind of people pleasing to that empowered, passionate purpose that we're reclaiming the feminine power. And sometimes it has to be fierce. And in this summit, I had to pull out the Wonder Woman lasso of truth a few times and kind of herd cats and wrangle people and be a little intense. And I'm okay with it because if I hadn't, certain things wouldn't get done. I remember when I did that, it felt so intense, but we went from having 200 people signed up for this summit to, you know, three times the amount over that. And with it, and that was from me stepping into a little bit of fierce energy, that Wonder Woman lasso of truth, and going, Oi, we're all on this ship together. For those of you that are sitting back drinking, margaritas and enjoying the view on this leadership boat, you need to just kind of step up and then, and everyone did, and it was beautiful. And I was so um empowered in my own feminine leadership, knowing that it can combine what we call masculine energy, but claiming it as, actually, is it divine masculine or is it divine feminine? And I think that it is divine feminine. And that has been a aha moment for me, because I've always separated it out as this is the feminine and this is the masculine. And I think we've, as society, have been conditioned to put them in these categories. And, the divine feminine empowerment is about reclaiming all of that. And so my viewpoint on the divine feminine feels much more whole and grounded instead of being fragmented and separated out, if that makes sense. Yeah, it feels embodied, it
Mm.
feels really good. And I've got
Mm-hmm.
kind of a raspy voice, and I've never liked my voice before because it's quite kind of masculine. And now I have fallen in love with my voice. I'm like, I love my voice. My grandmother had a raspy voice too. Like, yeah, so on many different levels, I've had a really big transformation.
Mm-hmm. I love what you said about it being embodied. I think that really gets at what femininity truly is and what it encompasses is the body of all things. And I was actually recently listening to Amma, the famous hugging guru, and she was saying that if you really think about it, if God has a gender, it's definitely feminine, in that everything comes from that. So whatever we've ascribed to masculinity was first the creator, and who are creators but women in that way. So I love that you said that it was embodied and it kind of encompasses everything, and that you've come to a place of wholeness with it all. I mean, you said so many amazing things there. Um, so what do you think of when you think of power, knowing that your definition of the feminine and leadership has changed so much? How does power fit into that for you?
Oh, yeah, I've definitely had a transformation around the word power. Um, I remember, long before I thought about the summit, I had a not such a good feeling about power, um, or the word leadership for that matter. But at the same time, I was so attracted to it. Powerful people. Um, I was drawn, to people like Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins has got so much power, in my opinion. Like Oprah Winfrey, like certain people that you just feel their power. And I'm magnetized towards it. But then I have this conflict with it too, because of how much it has been abused, right? The abuse of power. But now I'm just excited about it. Like, I feel like I've really transmuted any kind of shadow around it, because there is a lot of wounding and there's still a lot of shadow as we speak, and we're all witnessing it, right? An abuse of power. And excuse me, but my voice is quite going in and out because I am very tired, and I have, the name Summit is like a summit that you hike up, and I've hiked up and I'm at the top and I'm totally exhausted, but at the same time I'm so happy and I'm enjoying the view. of all the amazing light leaders that have come together. And this is power, bringing people together for a purpose, for empowerment. And now I love the word power now. It's like empowerment, in empowering ourselves to be the best version that we can be, empowering others to step into their soul path purpose and do what they came here to do on this planet. Like, these are amazing times, and there's so much happening. It's exciting. And power to me is, it's such a big word, but it's such a beautiful word. Like the light, you turn on the lights and it shines bright. So it's the inner light within us that shines bright, that can illuminate the pathway forward for each and every human being on this planet to get in touch and awaken love, unconditional love, kindness, being the best version of yourself and making a difference in this world. And I know this is one of the next questions, so I'll try not to answer my own questions too quickly here. I just realized I'm doing that. But some of the greatest leaders that were the most powerful and influential, and that includes Tony Robbins and Oprah, are the ones that have been making change in this world, awakening consciousness. And to me, that is power. Yeah, I love it now. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to keep on working on my empowerment, my
Mm.
journey, and not playing small. Or I used to make myself small because anytime I stepped into my leadership, then I got persecuted by people that felt intimidated, insecure, jealous, you name it. Like, it's all happened again and again and again. And it's just happened again, too. It always happens when I step into a position of power and authority. And I realize now that I don't have to take it personal. I know it's other people's wounds, other people's shadow, and then I can just keep shining my light, and my light will shine upon other people's shadows and other people's darkness. And that is just the way of it. Like, I'm surrendering and letting go to the fact that that's okay, and that it's okay for me to shine as bright as I am. And if it makes other people feel uncomfortable, I'm like Mel Robbins says, let them. I'm in a place of surrender because I'm not stopping. Can't keep a strong girl down. Once she's stepped into her power, there's no going back. Yeah, feels good. I feel really happy and blissful.
Mm. I love all those symbols and analogies that you used about light. And what was coming to me is that power is a vehicle for change. Without the power, the change doesn't happen. And so it's a frequency. It's like you get in and it carries you and it moves you and it moves the thing forward, whatever it is. So that's neutral, right? It can be misused or it can be used for good, but in and of itself, it is just a force, right? And it sounds like you're accepting that that force has an impact, and yet it's not up to you to decide what that impact is going to be. Everyone's going to have their own uh, experience of that, and so it's not something to take personal. So I really love that you've saddled up into your power so that you can keep moving forward regardless. And that's something for all of us to remember. Those of us that have that same dilemma of I like it and I'm scared of it. Um,
Yeah,
so
just to add to
yeah.
that, just not that many years ago, maybe maybe 7 years ago. So my kids were still quite young. About 7 years ago, I put on a bunch of weight because, and I actually liked having the weight on because it kept me safe. And because when I'm really skinny and looking great, I get a lot of attention from men and women, and I get the jealousy thing, and I get daggers, and so it was safer for me to have the weight on. But that's a very disempowered place to be. And I have found myself circling back to that recently. And I've got like, I feel like I'm in a hall of mirrors with this leadership summit at the moment because I'm reflecting on the fact that it is a responsibility when you are in a place of empowerment because you do get a lot of attention. And then I have found that then you have to hold that energy of that kind of attention. I I know I'm ready to lose the weight again because I know now that I can hold that I'm an empath, so I feel everything. And I'm psychic, so I hear everyone's thoughts and it's intense to be me. But I'm finally in an empowered place where I know that I can hold that sacred container for myself and for others and not take it personal and not take it on. And that is very empowering. Very, very empowering. So I'm excited.
I love that. Well, my next question is about your relationship to being a leader. And I don't know where you were before, but where are you at now with whether or not you consider yourself to be a leader and how that's feeling? It sounds like you're leaning in, but I'd love to hear more.
Oh, I'm absolutely a leader. There's no doubt about that. It's like, yep, I've accepted the responsibility of it. You
Mm.
know, I had a backpack when I was little that my mom bought me, and it was a Ziggy backpack, and it said, "Don't follow me, I'm lost too." And I had these little stuffed legs, that would go back and forth. And I just loved that backpack so much. I think I was around like 7, it was a long time ago. But I reflect back on that, how I used to be about the leadership calling is I didn't want to take the responsibility. I didn't want to take it because I didn't want to get it wrong. I didn't want to lead
Mm.
anyone astray. Like I take the responsibility piece really, really seriously, right? So I've always known that I'm a leader, but I didn't want to accept it. And now I fully accept it because I know that I don't have the responsibility for everyone else except for myself to be the lighthouse and to walk the walk and talk the talk and shine my light. And then I don't have to fix anyone. I don't have to do it for them. They have to do it. They have to accept their own leadership. And so I feel like because I've learned so much about what leadership is and what it's not, I'm at a place now where I don't have to take that part on. If people don't lead themselves, that's on them, not on the leader. And for a long time, that's what I thought, that if I led them and they didn't follow and they didn't do the things that I know that they're supposed to do, then I have failed. And that's not it. And so it's been a big shift for me. Like that's actually called a rescuer, not a leader.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So it's a
Very
big,
different.
yeah,
Very
it's a
different.
very big one. Yeah. It's been a big aha moment for me for sure. And I know that I'm here on this planet, and I've known this since I was a little girl, to awaken consciousness, to create heaven on earth, to um, help people find happiness, find joy, um, create a better life on this planet in any way that I can. And that is leadership because it takes leading oneself, right? And that's the other thing I've learned is that the awakening, the new feminine paradigm, it starts inside. It's within each and every one of us.
I'd love to hear what specifically is it for you about awakening the new feminine paradigm leadership? What is in that for you? What is what is revealing itself to you about that?
Yeah, I love this so much. I love this question. I think it's one of my favorite questions out of all of them. And in the beginning, 2 years ago, I thought it was something that I had to do on the outside of me. Like I was one of the divine feminine leaders on the planet, a light leader with other new thought leaders, and we needed to awaken the light on the outside because it's so dark. But now I realize how much it's on the inside of each and every one of us. And so it was very outward, and now it's very inward. And instead of reaching and grasping and chasing, right? It's actually from the inside of being that light and then radiating. And I keep going back to the analogy of the lighthouse because that's where it all began was the lighthouse. Because I've got, three lighthouses across from us in the bay here. And I'm fascinated and I love lighthouses and what they represent, right? And the lighthouse, it just shines the light, right? It doesn't try to rescue the boats or rescue or, it doesn't do all that. It just shines so bright. And then that is what guides people. So that's where I'm at now. It's like, how can I keep awakening the new feminine paradigm inside of my own psychology, my own presence, my own mindfulness, my own day-to-day life, how I interact with people at the grocery store, the post office, like with my husband, with the kids, my thoughts. And now I'm like, ooh, that's an old paradigm thought form, you know? And then when other people have a reaction, and I'm like, ooh, that is so old paradigm. It's really interesting. My whole my whole like idea of it. Even to the point where somebody said, oh, you've got to what was it, climb the ladder, that whole climb the ladder thing. I'm like, even that is old paradigm. We were led to believe that we have to climb this ladder in order to be successful. But is it, or is it resonance? Is it resonance and is it meant to be and in alignment with what is supposed to happen? And that's a very different frequency. I like what you said about frequency. It's a very different frequency because one is like very masculine and very like it's all about who you know and all this stuff. But if we are definitely here, and I believe this wholeheartedly, as spiritual beings having an earth experience, and we have a soul mission to awaken consciousness on this planet, then it would be about divine frequency and divine alignment. And then there's no climbing a ladder because there's no hierarchy. It's all frequency and alignment and soul path purpose work. And that really lights me up. And that to me is the new feminine paradigm.
Oh, so many things are coming up for me. I'm thinking about the difference between the hero's journey and the heroine's journey. And we've been programmed by the hero's journey that that's the journey that we all have to take, and which is a very external journey. You go out, you leave your village, and you battle the dragon or whatever, and you bring back the treasure chest or whatever. But the feminine journey, the heroine's journey, is an internal journey. It's an internal process where she battles herself and she gets wisdom at the end. And then she walks with that wisdom and she naturally impacts those around her. And that sounds like what you're saying is what you have come to know this as. And yes, this idea of radiating light rather than climbing a ladder as if to say, like, we're all going to drown and only one person is going to get out and find out what's up there. And it's like, actually, we don't even need the ladder because we can see without even climbing. We can see the solutions right in our own very wisdom. And whether that's inside of a male leader or feminine bodied person or whatever, this is just what we're stepping into, is these extra abilities of wisdom and light and, yeah, the frequency. Um, I see it too. I see it too, sister. Yeah, it's happening.
It's exciting, isn't it?
It is exciting. It really is.
Tears
Yeah,
me up actually because
same.
it's it's so holistic and it is the path to peace, liberation, freedom, equality. It is the new earth, the new feminine paradigm is where I want to live.
Yeah, yeah,
People are happy. It's a circle. It's not this hierarchical, you know, it depends on how much money you have and who you know to get to the top and all this kind of, oh, it's so outdated. It's such a low
yes.
frequency.
Yes, let's move to higher ground.
Mm.
So in that, I have my next question is, how do you think that by us stepping into this, I mean, you were just alluding to it now, right? We have equality, we have peace, we have beauty, people are taken care of. But how are we changing the world by stepping into this new frequency? What will change specifically in your vision?
Mm. Well, if you start implementing this in your daily life, I know from experience, then your daily life and your interactions with your relationships get better. And that's a really good start. I mean, that's gold right there because there is a lot of, you know, generational and intergenerational issues in the world because of that family dynamic. And if we can start there, you know, with, having that new feminine paradigm within us, right there, having a relationship with ourself, it's such a different energy. And
Right.
for an example, the old paradigm is to shame and blame and point fingers and be perfect. And when you're not perfect, then you punish yourself. And it's a, oh, it's a painful existence. But when you can start realizing the new feminine paradigm energetics of holding compassion, kindness, empathy, love for yourself, and like that actually perfection is, yeah, we don't need it. Like, let's just be the best versions of ourselves and then be an acceptance of who we are. And, all the weight go off, on your shoulders comes down and you can breathe and you can relax. And yeah, I mean, it really starts there. And I see it as like, the chakra colors, the light that turns on within you. I'm talking energy here. Let me try to make it more, just the frequency of happiness. Let's just boil it down to happiness. When you're happy and you go to the grocery store, for example, and you say hi to everyone and you're smiling, have you noticed that you have a really good experience and everybody's lovely and like, and everything is like the sun is shining, the birds are chirping, like it's like such a beautiful frequency. But if you're not in a good space and you go to the grocery store and you're really resentful and angry and like "Rrr," and like closed down, then you have all these like bad experiences. I know I've firsthand experienced this. And so I try not to go out anywhere when I'm in a bad space. And I come back to myself,
Mm,
do some yoga, do some self-care so that I can come back into that higher frequency because it affects everyone around you. So imagine that everyone is implementing this new feminine paradigm and awakening and in a good space and a higher frequency. And then this just starts turning everyone's lights on, and everyone becomes a lighthouse on this planet. And I see all these lights, or what Moses would say, butterflies, because all the doors are unlocked, and there's butterflies and it's beautiful, then we can play and we can dance and we can sing and we can enjoy the fruits of this planetary being. And this is my mission, my purpose, my what I'm, here to do is to light up this world. And the vision is just I can see it. And it can happen and it is happening. It really is. Just the person that I am, Mia, when I was little, I can't remember exactly how old I was, but I think it was an age where I loved Barbie dolls. Okay. So I think I was around 10, maybe 10 or 11. And we went and sat on Santa's, or maybe I was younger because we sat on Santa's lap. So I was pretty young then. And Santa said, "What do you want for Christmas?" And I answered quite frankly, world peace. And he said, um, is there something else that you would like a Barbie doll or something? Well, you want a Barbie doll, don't you? And I was like, no, I already have Barbie dolls. I actually just want world peace. And he said, well, that's a really tall order, my dear. And I remember seeing the cynicism of his answer, and I said, well, that's what I want. And he was baffled. He just couldn't believe that that's really genuinely what I wanted. And I didn't understand his cynicism on that day. And I was quite taken back, actually. It's like, why can't I have world peace? Darn it. And then I grew up and then I realized, oh, okay. Like we are still a long ways away, and it's not something you can just order up. But we can all keep doing our part to birth that in our own way. So I really feel like our leadership is being able to step into that creation, being a creatrix on this planet of birthing that within our own family units, our communities, and then branching out like we've done with the summit and making waves of awakening. But my experience has also been, like I said before, when you shine the light on dark places, you do sometimes get the kickback. And when the river starts flowing, the water was clear, but now that it's flowing and it's kicking up the murk, right? And so it can be a little bit intense sometimes, but this is part of the awakening journey. And everything
Mm,
that's happening on the world stage and on the planet right now is a result of the awakening process. It's not always easy, but it's all important because we're shining the light on some very dark places and we're seeing it, and
yeah.
we have to just keep reminding each other, and that's what this summit's about, is to remind everyone that it's okay and it doesn't have to be scary if we're doing our work, right, our spiritual work of awakening. Yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
getting
Mm-hmm.
support.
Mm. Yes, my next question is about what are the qualities, like if a new leader is watching this, or someone who is uh, wrestling with their own sort of inner spark that they're a leader too. It sounds like one of the main ones is self-responsibility, that it is you leading you and doing your own work and keeping your tools sharp and whatnot. And what else? What are the other top qualities that uh, a leader should consider, developing?
Well, kindness has been coming up a lot recently. And, something that's big in the empowerment movement right now is be unapologetic. And I just do
Mm,
not agree with that at all. In a time and place when I was a people pleaser and a doormat several years ago, I heard the unapologetic thing and I was like, yes, I'm going to be unapologetic. But there's no humility there. And
mm,
to me, a really powerful leader is the one that can say, you know what, I really got it wrong. I'm going to do better next time. I know for me, those are the people I respect and admire, and those are the people that I listen to because I trust them, because there's that humility. And I think I had to, swing from disempowerment to this like intense, I'm going to be unapologetic kind of energy to then come to a center point of my humility and just say, please guide me because there's a lot that I don't know. And in a lot of ways, the more that I know, I figure out the more I don't know. And that humility is really important to me of being able to say, I'm sorry, I got it wrong. I think is a very good sign of a very strong leader.
Mm,
Um, and, someone that is true to their word, when they say they're going to do something, that they follow through. And, I know that's not always possible. But if you can, I think that's a really good mark of a leader is to stand by their word, and be true to their word. For me, I said I was going to do this leadership summit. And even though it took 2 years, I was like, I have to follow through. This is one of my commitments. And so when I say I'm going to do something, as much as I possibly can, I follow through. Now, obviously, there are times in sickness or death or circumstances where it's not possible. So and then that's where the humility piece comes in.
mm-hmm.
It's really difficult to only pick three. Now I see why some of the new thought leaders were like, do I only have to pick three? There's so many.
Right.
Um, what is my third? Having a mission, a purpose that is here to change the world in some sort of way, even if it is very small, like being a leader as a mom with her children and growing them up to be the most amazing humans they can be on the planet. The microcosm to the macrocosm, and this tears me up because so often people think that that's not important, that it's trivial to just be a mom. And actually, being a mom, a good mom, whew, look, I just took childhood development, got an A, and it's one of the most important things that a mom will ever do is give their children a strong, beautiful foundation so they can become beautiful people and not have to grow into an adult and get therapy and work on themselves in order to be successful. If you're a mom and you're listening to this, you have the most important job on the planet. And it's a microcosm to a macrocosm. Can we do that on the microcosm and then do that on the macrocosm? And that is a powerful leader, to be kind, to be a good human, right? That is so important. And it seems so simple, but it's not. It's huge.
It's a
Mm.
summit in and of itself, isn't it?
Isn't it?
Just to be a good human.
To be a good human. The Good Human
Yeah.
Summit. Yeah, I think you got something
Yes.
there, Mia.
And I would love to know, who are your top leaders? If you had to just pick three, who do you really look up to as a leader?
Yeah, so when I began this journey, Mia, 2 years ago, it was Martin Luther King Jr. and it was Wonder Woman. And I can't remember who else. I picked a few different leaders. Oprah, I think. But it's really interesting that it has shifted. And I still admire those leaders, don't get me wrong, but it has shifted a little bit. And it's been an interesting process to just kind of reflect on my own psychology in this journey. I value what Martin Luther King has done and Oprah for the movement that they've created. Very important. Wonder Woman. is actually still on that list. She hasn't left, which I thought that she would not be one of my top leaders because she's not a real person. However, the more that I've learned about Wonder Woman and how she was created, she is an analogy, a metaphor, a frequency of the feminist movement. And William Marston, a psychologist that created her, based Wonder Woman on his wife, Elizabeth, and his lover, Olive Byrne, that was related to one of the main feminist movement makers and shakers on the planet. No coincidence there. That was cosmic alignment. And they were in love. And so to me, Wonder Woman represents feminism, that you can be strong, you can be powerful, and you can be sexy, and graceful and beautiful. I mean, Linda Carter was all of those things. But it started before Linda Carter. Like, he really believed that women should be in positions of political and spiritual power. And, him and his wife were at Harvard and they lost their jobs because of their relationship with Olive. They went through a lot. Wonder Woman was destroyed at one point, like completely, like burned. And like, there's a documentary made about it. Like, what these people went through for love, pure love, and the frequency that they held in the creation of Wonder Woman, just like, it's so powerful. And we are Wonder Woman within ourselves and what it represents. And another thing, one of the speakers said that if you place your power onto a leader and then that leader falls from grace in one way or another, then it changes your perception of that leadership. And let's face it, all humans have issues and things about them that are sitting in the shadows, where Wonder Woman is it's an archetypal energy that we can relate, and it's not going to fall from grace because of the meaning and the energy that it holds as a frequency to awaken people, women in particular, to step into their power and their purpose, which is what it was intended to do. And he was a psychologist. So there was a lot of strategic thought that went into the creation of Wonder Woman. So that is why it remains on my list. Now, this one is the one that surprised me. My mom. My mom is one of my most admired leaders in my life. And I've had a tumultuous relationship with my mom. It's been a difficult one. There are times where I thought my true family are the Egyptians and some sort of galactic federation out there because I don't understand my biological family. But I'm embodied in my leadership now, and there's a humility and grace that has connected me to humanity and being part of humanity. And it was my mom that taught me that. And this is the part where I'm probably going to cry. But my mom, she was 15 when she got pregnant with me. She had me the day before her 16th birthday. She didn't have even a high school diploma. Her mom was an alcoholic. Her family had trauma stacked on top of trauma and served more trauma with their trauma. And she left my dad. She left my stepdad, and she became a single mom of 4 children and went back to school, sobered up, went back to school, got her degree in sociology, and she's a counselor. And to do that, she had to lead herself in a really big way. She had to lead herself out of generational and intergenerational wounds that keep most people stuck. And she did it. And on top of that, her counselor, her advisor, told her, "You'll never make it because of all the concussions you've had." Because she had went through a lot, my mom. all the concussions that you have permanent brain damage and you won't be able to make it through, so don't even bother. Well, that was the very thing, because she's a rebellious woman. Rebellion runs in my family. Like we're a long line of rebels in our family. And it was the very thing that lit a fire so bright in her. And she said, "Don't you tell me what I can and cannot do. I'm doing this and I'm going to succeed." And she got A's. She graduated with honors. And she's a very, very good counselor. And she's such a strong woman. And I admire her so much. Her dedication to lead herself and now to be helping others. Like, wow, what an amazing human being. She has shown me so much. She's taught me humility, compassion, grace, being able to love even when there's so much pain. And yeah, my mom is a leader that I admire the most out of anyone because she's someone that I know her. I love her. I've seen her, come out of those dark times and wow. And it's profound because I never thought that I'd be saying this and I've grown a lot. I've grown a lot through this journey. Yeah. We oftentimes just put these leaders on pedestals. Oh, they're a leader because they've done all of this, like Martin Luther King Jr. Of course he has. I'm not saying that he hasn't, but can we remember the mothers that have done so much for their children and
Yeah.
endured so much just to be on this planet and deal with all the hardship that has been thrown their way? And this is not uncommon. Like, my mom's not the only one that has had to fight for their lives to be a good human and do good things on this planet. And yeah, those are actually the people that I admire the most. Mm.
Mm. I love that your mom made it to the list, the final list. What a journey of healing that must be that you've been on to be able to pull out from your myopic kind of micro experience of her and see the hurdles and the triumphs that she was able to accomplish despite everything. And that really speaks to why you want to support the mothers because their journey is so important. And if she would have been supported better by the system, even as a single mom, then maybe she could have done that without the pain, you know, and the dysfunction or the tension that comes along with such a hard job. So amen to supporting mothers.
Yeah, my mom needed to be supported more than she was, for sure.
Everybody, all
And yeah,
mothers.
it's a
Yes.
systemic issue.
Yes. Yes. And in the
Mm.
societies where mothers are supported, it's a happier society and it's not without its problems, but for sure that ameliorates a lot of the unnecessary suffering that comes along with the burden of being a parent and being a mother. Yeah, you know. Um, do you have a vision for the future of leadership? Do you see it going from where we're getting to now into even further down the line? What does that look like? The future of leadership.
Mm. I'm very hopeful about it. It feels like the old paradigm is truly on its way out. And the reason why I say that, because people go, "What? How is it?" When they look at the world stage and all the conflict and all everything that's going on. The reason why I know it's on its way out is because when something is ready to die, it hangs on with all of its might and all of its strength, and it gets really like raw, right? Because it knows that it's getting ready to fizzle out, and we're seeing it. And we're going to see a lot of exciting things happening. And so there is like a crumbling away of this old paradigm. And another thing I want to say is back to that leadership, the boat, and how important not just the captain, which is the leader, right? But every single person, the crew that is on that boat, how important their role as a leader is. We can take that microcosm and then put that on to the world. Often we put all of our attention and our power onto these leaders and we give our power away. It's time for us to take our power back. It's time to go, they may be the politicians. I don't even call them leaders anymore. They may be the politicians, but they are certainly not the leaders. The leaders are the ones that are birthing the new feminine paradigm. Those are the ones that I'm going to put my energy and attention to, right? And I learned this in childhood development. When you got bad behavior, you ignore it.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I'm going to put my attention over here where it's important.
Mm-hmm.
And imagine if we
Mm-hmm.
all do that, what we
Yeah.
can create, co-create, because we're
Mm-hmm.
powerful. And I wanted
Mm-hmm.
to really remind everyone how powerful we really are. Who's more powerful on that boat? The one captain or everyone, the crew? Well, the crew's the most powerful. The captain's just the director, right?
Right.
Everybody's the
Right.
leader. And that's
Everybody's the leader.
exciting. Yeah, that's
Yes.
exciting to me. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
And another thing that's coming up for me that I wanted to share was that, can I express this? Okay, I teach in stories sometimes, but one of my dreams was to be in Avatar as an extra. Like I just really, I love Avatar's my favorite movie, and I think James Cameron is amazing. And so a little bit of a fangirl when it comes to Avatar because I just love it so much. So my dream came true. I was listed in a talent agency because I put my kids in the talent agency. And then she said, well, we could just put you on there. I was like, really? Okay, sure, why not? And it ended up leading to me being an extra in Avatar for 3 weeks, which was amazing. Like, a little starstruck, but it was so cool. It was a total dream come true. And James Cameron was just like right there. And, it was amazing. Like, he's probably the smartest person I've ever met in my life. Like, his frequency is so electric, like zzz around him, like so intense. And he's like a very powerful, powerful leader. Now, some people say not so nice things about how he leads, that he can be grumpy. But I tell you what I saw. I saw a remarkable leader with a powerful vision, so passionate in his purpose that he had all the extras, like over 10 extras, names memorized, positions, what they're meant to do, and forward in his brain as he was directing, holding a huge camera. And he's an older man, huge camera on his shoulder. And so he took it from the camera guy. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, he's just like lit with creative energy. And when he did get grumpy, it was because people weren't doing their part. And I just related to him so much. And I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, come on. He's being this like incredible captain and like everyone they just have to remember like this much and he's doing this much and he just gets a little frustrated. And so I've been thinking about that because I witness sometimes my own frustration as a leader. I think that sometimes too much is placed upon the leader as well, and that the leader also needs to be supported. And that comes from the crew stepping into their leadership and not just placing it all on the leader because that's a lot. And so, this new paradigm leadership, it really is a circle. Like we're not doing the top down anymore. It's not like James Cameron's up here and everybody's down here. No, like they're all making a film together. It takes everyone doing their part. And I think that sometimes these powerful leaders, they're leading and they're doing their part and they're wanting everyone to step up into there. And that to me is the new feminine paradigm. Is like, how can we all take that self-responsibility and yeah, and do our part. And I know that was kind of an oddball thing to say. I don't know if it answered your question or not, but it's
Yeah,
been
no, it sounds like you're getting at that new feminine paradigm leadership is shared. It
mm,
is it's shared and we get to take turns, right? I'm sure there are moments when James Cameron or someone like that has to turn to someone and say, "In your best guess, what should we do here?"
yeah.
And if he didn't have a team to work with, then he'd just be completely by himself and it would be utterly impossible to pull off a vision. So it sounds like new leadership going forward is shared, which is how nature works, right? There's no natural, pyramids and hierarchies in nature, right? Everything is circular and cyclical, and so I think that we're going forward, but it seems like we're also returning to something that's foundational, in that
Yeah.
we're here together on this planet in this
Well,
ship.
that kind of tribal collaborative
Yeah.
thing that Moses talked about, like that was a very powerful talk. Go back to that one and watch it because Moses did grow up in a village where, that it was a very collaborative. And I love all his stories of leadership. I learned so much from that one. I learned from everyone. Like all the summit speakers are incredible. So this has been an incredible journey.
Mm. Well, taking all of this wisdom that you've learned from everybody and through your own journey, and as kind of a fun way to end, what would you do? How would you change the world if you could, if you were the leader?
Oh. I used to shirk and say, oh, I don't want that job. But now I think I could do it really well. I think I would be a very good leader. And I don't say that in any kind of arrogance, but in a place of empowered humility and grace and a deep desire to have change in this world. There's so many things I would do. And, all the things that I would do would take more than an hour to tell you. But I'll boil it down to focusing on the children. They are our future. And I know it's why I loved Moses's talk so much because he works closely with children and he believes that is the foundation of it all. We create, his business is Pride Lands. We create a sense of pride and self-responsibility and teach leadership to these young people at an early age so they can grow up and do amazing things in the world. And childhood development was my favorite study so far because that foundation is paramount. So, a big emphasis on childhood development, education, emotional and spiritual intelligence and sovereignty, getting moms the support that they need. Um, in France, I went to France when I was 7 months pregnant, and they allowed me to go first. Everywhere I went, they respect the pregnant woman. Like it's beautiful. So instilling a sense of honor, dignity, and respect to the mothers that are bringing in the future generations of children into the world and making sure they have support and education. Education would be free, full stop. It's free in Sweden. And, I lived in Sweden for 4 years. Some of the most intelligent people, everyone, the
Hmm.
people working at the grocery store, the post office, picking up your rubbish, they're all educated. And it makes for a very intelligent and wonderful society of people. And so education would be paramount and getting an amazing team, an amazing community. I would not do it on my own. Not into the whole dictator thing at all. Like it takes a whole village, a whole community to make decisions. And the people that would be making those decisions, a requirement would be that they're heart-led leaders and want to birth heaven on earth and make this world a better place for everyone. And everyone would be trained on new feminine paradigm leadership. Yeah, and the circle would be honored as,
Yeah.
this is how it's done. And I could go on and on, but I think you get the gist of it. Yeah.
Mm, I'm so there. I'm so there.
Yeah.
No boardroom tables, sitting around a fire, sitting around circular tables. Everybody's heard, everybody's listened to. We're raising up the children to know that they themselves have the power to lead, supporting mothers so that they can do the most powerful job on the planet to bring that new wisdom in to raise up that next generation. And I
And I'd
agree.
hire you,
Educate,
Mia. I would hire you,
hire
Mia,
me.
because you would be in charge of the reality show. Because I love that
Yes,
idea.
we are going to do that. We are going to do that.
For those of
Yes.
you that have not
No
heard
more
Mia's
hiding.
talk, you got to listen to Mia's talk because her idea about the reality TV show and all the leaders, I'm like, yes, we have to do that. That would be so much fun. I
Keep it
would bring
light, keep
more,
it fun.
yeah, I would bring more beauty and fun to the world as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
Well, you already do, my friend. Everything you've touched so far, even though there's been glitches and changes, you've just been rolling with it. And, I can just say that what it's been like for me to be on this ship with you has been nothing but a joy and an honor to be alongside you as you have pulled this together and taken it, to the next level. So you're already doing that. And by doing that, you're doing what you're saying, which is infecting us all with this beautiful frequency of empower within, this embodied sense of wholeness that we're a part of something, that we're a part of this change. And your joy and your hope for it all is very, very infectious. So I just, yeah, deep bow to you and congratulations for getting this part finished and out into the world and all of these talks. And I just, yeah, I can't wait to see where it goes.
Thank you, Mia. That means the world to me. Thank you so much. Love that. And, Athena, she says, I'm throwing you roses. I love that. I'm throwing you roses. So I'm throwing you
Yes,
roses, Mia.
I'm throwing you roses and just, yeah, honey and all of the things, perfume and all of the things that just make you feel so supported and so loved. Yes, yes, seriously. Just honor you so much. Thank
Thank you
you.
so much, Mia. That means the world to me. I really do understand what the word summit really means right now. It's like you hike up, and it's a lot of work, and you get to the top and you're so tired, but you're looking at the view and you're like, oh, the view is
It's all worth it.
beautiful. It's all worth it. It's been an incredible journey. And every single new thought leader that's been part of this has brought so much magic and wisdom and a deep well of enlightenment and an awakening of consciousness. Like I've had a whole leadership training for sure, and I think everyone has. I've been getting some really good feedback from the people that are going through this, having huge shifts in their personal life, their psychology. People that were really struggling are now feeling like they're beaming as lighthouses in the world. And that's what it's all about. Being tired, it's okay because, the value of doing something like this exceeds everything else. Like it's just been an amazing journey to go through. So thank you for being part of it.
Absolutely. My pleasure. So, Shamet, tell us what's next? What's coming up? How are we going to take these next steps together? We're having a workshop coming up. It's a whole weekend of master classes, and I would love for you to tell us more about that.
Well, I've been following the guidance of my guides, my spirit guides along this heart-led journey. And I thought it would be really amazing to have all these talks with all the keynote speakers, new thought leaders, to give everyone a taste of each and every leader, and then bring us together live. And that's what's getting ready to happen. And we've put the dates back till June 6th through 8th, which feels so much better for everyone. It's been in divine alignment. I always follow my intuition and it guided me. It's like, okay, this is the divine feminine flow. Like, you get to rearrange things because it's about alignment, and it's
Yes.
actually ended up working better for everyone. So it's fantastic. So that's coming up June 6th, and it's an opportunity for all of us to be together live in Zoom and connect in with the speakers, to have a Q&A. That will be so I've also opened this up to be a free offering as well. And so this is free for all of you that are listening. You can attend the 3-day event free. Now, if you do upgrade to the VIP, then you get a Q&A with all of us. You get a lot of free offerings from the summit speakers, and whatever is donated. And I love that now there's an equitable payment option that Buffy brought to my attention, which I just love so much. It's like you can pay a 35, 55, and $97 donation to help with the awareness and the prevention of human trafficking, which is something that I am really, really passionate about in my life right now, of just helping out where I can. But I also don't want to limit people that just can't afford any of that from coming. So I really want this to be an event where people can really feel that opening of being able to attend, and not have the financial commitment be in the way. And at the same time, for people to know that if you do donate, then that money goes to a great cause, to something that's happening on the planet that most of us just don't really want to know about, right? And we all have different roles that we play. And I wouldn't want to be on the front line um, on that, but supporting people that are feels really good to me. So that is why I've created that kind of fundraising aspect to it. And then what you're getting out of it is a 3-day workshop with incredible speakers and being empowered. And there's a difference in listening to what everybody has to say and then doing a workshop where it's interactive, like what Mia's going to be doing with us, is getting us moving, and it's interactive, and it's more of a workshop where you get to then take everything that you've learned and integrate it into your life so that you can really embody that new feminine paradigm leader, and create the
Create the
change
change
that
that
each and
each and
every
every
one
one
of
of
you
you.
is meant to impact the world with.
Mm, beautiful. I love it. I'm so excited. So excited to see everybody's faces, mix and mingle, and see how it just ripples out into everyone's lives. All of this beautiful wisdom and knowledge and, yeah, experience. Thank you for putting it together.
And it's going to be a lot of fun. Like, anyone that does my workshops knows that we have a lot of fun. We're going to be playing some music, we're going to be dancing, we're going to be eating chocolate, we're going to be celebrating life, filling up our cups. It's
Yes.
going to be like a retreat as well as a workshop,
Mm,
a place
mm.
where everyone can fill up their cup and turn their light on even brighter, and walk away from it feeling charged and empowered and uplifted and good. like bringing that higher frequency, that higher vibration to each and every person that meets up with us. Oh, we're going to have so much fun.
We're going to have a blast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aw. Thank you, Mia. Thank you so much for being on the other side here and interviewing me. That was so much fun. I really enjoyed it. Thank you so much. And I'm looking forward to dancing with you in the 3-day workshop.
Oh, I am so excited, and this was an honor and a pleasure to be with you, to be able to sit and hold space with you. So thanks for asking, and I know everybody's going to enjoy watching this, and we will see you all there at the workshop and the retreat.
Yay. Mwah.